like Abraham, I was telling her yesterday how that was, probably the most difficult thing for me physically, because I went through everything that they put in that book, all the different side effects that you may get. And it got to a point, and like I was telling your wife yesterday, I actually told my doctors, or I told my PA at Texas Oncology, I said, I'm done. And she kind of looked at me like, what do you mean you're done? And after 14 or 15 months or whatever it was, I quit my chemo. I said, I'm not doing it anymore. And it was just to that point where I just kept, I kept getting to the top of the mountain, like, man, I'm feeling good. And then boom, knocked me right back down to the very bottom. And it was such a climb up. And I kept doing that over and over and over. And I was getting really so sick where, my wife would find me laying on the bathroom floor, and it was brutal. And so that was really difficult, for the physical part of things. And Scott knows, he's done some of these presentations with me, and I've gone around to do presentations around the country, educating people on, what it's like to have a career. I had a very successful career, and then, one day everything just kind of, changed. It actually changed one day twice. So it changed one day, and then 2 years later, it really changed in an even bigger way for me. So the first time around, I got cancer and I was out for about 6 months. And then 2 years later, I was in medical sales, and I went in, was having these little episodes, and turns out they were seizures, and ended up having brain cancer. I ended up having an awake brain surgery. It's called an awake craniotomy, where you have, 10 or 11 people in this OR standing around you while they're operating on your brain, and you're awake and you're talking to your surgeon. And it's surreal. So that really changed my life moving forward. Scott and I, ended up starting Tony Foundation not much longer, kind of after I did all that treatment. And one of the things that he talked about with me when we were entertaining the idea of doing this back in 2017 was, what would be something that's really a problem in the cancer community that we could help solve, and just help solve, not solve. And oftentimes in these presentations, I talk about the 4 facets of cancer being the mental, emotional, and physical strain. But the fourth one is that financial strain. And I always touch on that so much, and I spend time on that with a lot of people because they don't quite understand, once you get diagnosed and once your life changes, like I've talked about a couple different times, the financial stuff becomes a big burden, becomes a big stress, becomes nobody had that, just in case I get cancer fund set up in their bank account, right? Like, you don't really know what it's going to be like. You don't know how expensive it's going to be like. And you certainly, certainly hope that you have a really good insurance to take care of you. And oftentimes Scott and I deal with people all the time that either, didn't have insurance or couldn't afford their max out of pocket, or their deductible was something crazy that they had to meet, and their company has laid them off, or, they were so many people that we dealt with last year that we were awarding during the pandemic were furloughed, right? Or, they're going like, I got furloughed and now I have cancer. Like, what the hell do I do? So, and that's kind of where we step in. And